When I came here, one of the things I asked for first was that we have GuestRevu do the guest feedback for us. And you can't just call any establishment royal something unless you had real royalty stay with you. The first guest that stayed here was the then Prince Edward, who became King Edward of England. This establishment, as it is now, opened on the 4th of September in 2015. The owners of the hotel came down to Port Alfred on holiday quite often, and Mr. Becker fell in love with the old Highlander pub and the offerings that they had here. And they were on the verge of retiring, so they decided to buy this property and turn it into a small boutique hotel, just 10 bedrooms, a fine dining restaurant, and then restored the pub to its former glory. As they were continuing to develop and build, they realized they had so many meetings with architects and engineers and suppliers and hotel advisors that there wasn't a state of the art conferencing facility in Port Alfred, so they decided to add that on. And then along came our luxury wing with our kiddie center, swimming pool, and 2 more conference breakaway rooms and the spa. Mr. Becker and Mrs. Becker traveled a lot, and they fell in love with Port Alfred. And his dream was to turn Port Alfred into more than just like a pit stop, and to make it a destination. So it became part of our vision and mission to tell people not just about the Royal St Andrews Hotel, but about Port Alfred itself. So when the hotel opened, we were GuestRevu from the beginning, because the hotel group I worked for before I started here just started GuestRevu in that last year when I was with them. So when I came over as sales manager at the time, it was an important tool for me to have. So I motivated to the owners of the hotel that we need this. We opened first only with GuestRevu for the hotel, and then we realized because the hotel is so multifaceted, we've got a lot of smaller businesses within the big Royal St Andrews Hotel Group. So the Highlander pub functions on its own as a separate business within the business. So does the Thistle restaurant and the spa. That's why eventually we added on separate sort of feedback for the restaurants and the spa. Being able to have different sort of mini surveys for the different sections of the hotel, that is extremely helpful. So on our main post-stay survey, there's only one line for the spa, which doesn't encapsulate the spa as an entity on its own. That's why we have a spa-specific survey as well, where people can then speak about their therapist, speak about the ambience of the spa, speak about the decor at the spa, their experience, the therapist knowledge, the product ranges we have. So we get a lot of feedback. And if we see 3, 4, 5 people mentioning a certain thing, say for instance a skin moisturizer that we don't have in stock, it allows us to go back to the franchise that we are using, Sea Spa Wellness by Camelot, and tell them, okay, so in this area of the world, in Port Alfred, this is what people are looking for. Well, for me, it was pretty easy. Like I said, when I came here, one of the things I asked for first was that we have GuestRevu do the guest feedback for us. And it didn't take a lot for any of the other management or the general manager at the time and the owners to see the benefits in having it. The amount of information that we get via GuestRevu is by far better than a manual process. One of the things I like to do is to send out the reviews to the management with my feedback on it. So if someone is identified for exemplary service, I can commend that person on there. The manager will make a note of it, and that's how we keep track of staff that delivers exemplary service, that we can incentivize, that we can recognize in our staff meetings, that we speak about, they get awards, certificates, and then every department can see what is being said about the service they deliver and where there's areas for improvement and where to give praise to their staff. Without guest review, we would not be able to get all the information from our guests that we need. Some guests are happy, some guests are not happy. For some people, the destination didn't meet their expectations. That information is crucial to us so that we can know what our guest experience was like, where we need to make changes, if we can make changes, and what we need to focus on to enhance the guest experience. So without guest review, that is not possible. We do get people who say that it was very quiet, very peaceful, or not much to do in the town, or the location is too far from the beach. And that made us realize that people actually do not know what they can experience, what the town has to offer. So, because of that coming through via guest review, we now put information packs in the room with our guests at reception. The beach is only what 0.7 kilometers down the street from the hotel. The golf course is right across the street. Outdoor focus can help you do canoeing, deep sea fishing. There's all this experience, horse riding. So because of people saying that via guest review, we now know that we have to provide that information. So guest review helped us in that manner. That's only one of the benefits that we see via guest review. Hospitality is it's evolving constantly. It's never the same. People's expectations of what a hotel offers changes all the time. It's not just a place where people come and sleep anymore and have a breakfast and then leave. They want an experience. They want to be able to create moments. And guest review allows us to identify those features that we might not have at a specific point in time, but that we can implement. For instance, when we started, we had Wi Fi with passwords, and people would get a code when they check in. But that created quite a lot of confusion with people because sometimes the passwords wouldn't work, or it only works in the room section and not in the pub section. And then we learned that for a four-star hotel and the offering that we would like our guests to experience, we no longer should have passwords on the Wi-Fi. People must just be able to log on and be comfortable and enjoy their stay. And as time went by, we realized with the amount of people we do have, there are certain periods of the year when we are very busy, when the Wi-Fi slows down. And that feedback to us that we need to look at upgrading our Wi-Fi and getting fiber. So now we have got like extremely fast fiber lines coming into the hotel, keeping up with the guest expectations. A lot of factors, but the main one is with the evolving of the hospitality industry. Guest review allows our guests to let us know what the expectations are, and we keep up with that. I do not think we would be able to do it without guest review, or it would be very difficult, labor intensive, time consuming, because then we'd have to go onto Google, onto TripAdvisor, onto Booking.com to go and see like what who is saying about it. But with guest review, we get a consolidated report weekly of where our online reputation management has been for the previous week. We get a monthly report with everything, and Guest Review sends us all the online reviews. We get it via email directly from Guest Review. So we don't have to go and sit on booking.com or Expedia or any other website because everything comes to us via Guest Review. So it saves a lot of time and it enhances productivity. And then also, it allows us to see what people are saying online, and we can then go and directly respond instead of not knowing what is out there and just leaving, if there's negative feedback out there, unattended, which make people feel, well, they're not even really interested in what we had to say, so why should we bother going back there? Most of the time, about 98% of the time, we get positive feedback, which is very good. I'm very happy with that. But when we do get the odd guest whose expectations weren't met, then it allows us to thank them and say, listen, we appreciate that you actually took the time to go and say that we were not happy with well, any sort of service delivery or aspect of their experience. And that allows us to speak to the staff, do more training, and ensure that it won't happen again. An example, one guest will be very upset with the way we do breakfast because we're not like any other South African hotel where we do just a buffet breakfast. It's a gourmet breakfast where there's a continental buffet and you get a gourmet plated warm breakfast. Some people really love that idea. For other people, it's not really their cup of tea. And that allows us then to go and sit with the staff and do training with them, explain the menu better to the guests, um, enhance the experience, let them know that people expect certain things to happen faster. We get that all from online feedback, which we then can respond on, and other people see that we care about what our guests are experiencing. And that makes a huge difference in whether people will come to your property or not. The comp set will let us know if there's sort of a change pending in the industry. When everyone just starts showing low scores, it means something is shifting. And we need to do our research. Our revenue manager and our sales managers needs to do the research to see what has changed from the guest perspective, what their expectations are. Because if your entire comp set is below 80%, what's wrong? It's been like this for 4 weeks consecutively. What has changed? What do we need to do? You know, it's very informative in that aspect. Amazing. It's same day replies, less than half a day. If there is ever a question that Mikhail cannot answer for me, he will contact GuestRevu, Michelle, Jamie, and we will get a response immediately. Always very courteous, always very prompt and professional. I am extremely happy with the service we are getting from GuestRevu. Everyone there. Have you seen GuestRevu? Have you worked with GuestRevu? Have you seen the information they provide in hotels? There's simply no other way. There's no other product out there that can do what GuestRevu is doing for the hotel. The the only way that any hotelier will know what the advantages of GuestRevu are is to try it out and see for themselves. I've said a lot of things. I can speak about it all day long, but the product speaks for itself. There's only one way to answer that question. Try it for yourself and see the difference.